Welcome back to episode 3 of Breaking Bap Podcast.
Before we start, we really want to thank you guys for all the support and constructive feedback on our first and I guess second episodes. We are definitely going to be implementing your feedback going forward, especially the one about staying on topic.
Yep.
Today's topic happens to be more specific. Today we're going to talk about Korean beauty standards. As you know, creators that dabble in the beauty space, there's so much to talk about. It's like our responsibility, I think, to talk about it. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we begin, we have to talk about the food.
I'm so excited for this. Did you grow up eating like DIY mini kimbaps?
Well, okay, I eat kimbap like 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Like even
it's
now.
also one of my favorite foods
it's
too.
Seriously like top 3 favorite foods for me. I actually don't eat it like this though.
Oh really?
Yeah, like the little mini. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had Maya kimbap, which is the little tiny ones, but I've never done it like DIY style before.
Yeah, so let me introduce you guys to the menu. All right, so here's the spread. We have kemasai, which is imitation crab meat, tamuji, which is pickled radish, carrots, cucumbers, kim, tuna, tempura or fried fish cakes, burdock root, which is uong in Korean, avocado, and eggs. We also have soy sauce and wasabi for the dip. Okay, so I guess this is how my family eats it. We usually just get one piece of kim,
Okay.
and you make kind of like a mini sam with it. So you just put whatever toppings you like, and the veg is on that side, the protein is on this side.
Do you like fold it like a taco?
No, and I just put like a little bit of pop. It's kind of like, you know when you go for Korean barbecue?
Yeah.
I put a little bit of pop just like this.
Okay.
And then whatever I feel like eating in every bite.
Literally everything.
I know, everything
oh my
was
God.
pretty good, eh?
Everything looks so good. James does all the food for our podcast. I feel so bad. I'm like so useless. You're
No.
you're so wifey though. Like this is
Am I?
like, did you julienne this yourself?
Yeah.
Like with a knife, not even with
with
a
a knife.
not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
with like a mandolin or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
James, what the heck?
Okay, you guys know from the last podcast, I kind of have like a J personality, and I'm like very like particular. So,
Literally.
which is probably why I'm single. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah, no,
excuse my
reach. No, reach, please.
Oh my God, I've never had avocado in kimbap before.
Yeah, no, it adds that creaminess that you want, right?
I love avocado. Okay, so I'm gonna do this.
Okay, so
and
after we
then-
make our sums, we should definitely go on topic and talk about Korean beauty standards.
And you dip it, right?
Yeah, you dip
Ooh,
it.
I
Oh,
want
put
some
wasabi. Yeah.
I love wasabi. I'm gonna go ham. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I'll start coughing. Like that
Yum.
much. Okay. Honestly,
I love how excited you are.
I'm
Honestly.
actually pretty hungry right now.
Oh, this is our breakfast, by the way.
Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. Brunch. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite.
Yeah, you dip it. How is it? It's good, right? Yeah. And like sometimes you don't want like certain vegetables, so I like how it's like DIY, you
Oh my
know?
gosh. I just want to say, sprinkling that with sesame seeds made such a difference. It's so good, James. They're so healthy. Oh my God, I love it. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, and it's like not that much
I mean,
it's prep time, but it's not like you have to do a lot of cooking. You know what I mean?
oh my gosh, that's so good. Thank you.
Of course.
We should probably talk about
Okay. Moving on to Korean beauty standards. Maybe we'll just kind of explain to the audience what Korean beauty standards are versus North American ones.
Right.
Because they're quite different, right?
Very, I would say.
Even between male and female, they're very different.
I'll get into what I think are the main differences between like Western beauty standards and Korean beauty standards in women from a woman's experience.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can talk about it for men.
Yeah.
I think in the West, well, the thing is, ever since TikTok and just all these like very high speed, short form social media platforms, I feel like beauty trends change a lot. And they've been changing way faster than they used to. So I don't even know what's like trendy these days in terms of beauty standards. But typically, I think people in the West prefer to look like more tan, like healthier, like the makeup styles, they use bronzer to get that like glow. We don't shy away from, heavy like eye makeup. Um, and even with body stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
like curvy.
I think body's a big one.
Yeah, like curvy is appreciated in Western beauty standards, whereas in Asian, or we're going to speak to more Korean beauty standards, the body stuff is obviously very skinny,
Yeah.
very pale, pale skin, big eyes, small nose, pointed chin,
Yeah.
that V-line chin, like long hair. Yeah, skinny. Like,
Skinny. Yeah.
everyone knows what a K-pop idol looks like.
Totally. And you
Yeah.
know what? In my most recent trip to Korea,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this, but there's an ideal body weight for a girl.
Of course.
And no, it's like a specific number that all girls want to be.
What is it?
And it's 48.
48 kilograms.
People want to be 48 kilograms, which is like 105 pounds.
Yeah.
That's so light.
Yeah.
And mind you, like Korean like females are a little bit more on the petite side in terms of like height. But
Yeah.
105 pounds, that's like crazy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is. I don't even know what the average height is for
Yeah.
women in Korea. It's definitely getting
Higher.
higher.
Yeah, like I feel short in Korea.
Do you? How tall are you actually?
I'm 5'9", guys. I'm
You're
5'9".
5'9"?
Yeah, I'm 5'9".
What is that in centimeters?
One,
I'm so
175.
175.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm 5'6", 168 centimeters. I'm on
Okay.
the taller end.
Mm.
But yeah, like I feel tall when I'm in Korea for sure. Like,
Yeah.
when I'm in the subway, I can literally see the tops of everyone's heads.
Yeah.
Even the men.
You know what though? Guys have been getting a lot taller.
Yeah. So
In
speaking
Korea.
of which,
Yeah.
what do you think are Korean
Okay.
beauty standards for
So
men?
growing up, to be honest, in Korean society in general, I feel like guys and girls have very different standards.
Mm-hmm.
Girls are held to a higher standard in beauty. Guys, to be honest, I never felt that guys had to look a certain way.
Really?
I think they had to provide in a certain way in terms of monetary value.
Mm-hmm.
That's the expectation. But in terms of looks and physical, I don't know. Like you could be overweight. You could be
But
not
maybe-
as good looking, right?
But maybe that is because
Yeah.
you grew up in Canada.
Mm,
Do you think you would feel differently if you grew up in Korea?
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Because I mean, what do you consider to be like the standard for male Korean male beauty?
Yeah. High nose bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes. They like small eyes. Before they were like, oh, we want the succumbed, which is what
The double
the
eyelids.
double eyelid.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think they're good with the monolid.
Mm-hmm.
Small face. 180 centimeters. Actually, that was a big thing. Height.
Mm-hmm.
I never reached 180. So that was always something in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And like every time I visited Korea as a kid, my relatives would be like, oh, like pick 80, which means 180. Like that's the goal. Yeah.
What
So I
about?
think a lot of it, actually, I would say most of the emphasis is on height for guys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like when I went to Korea this past time,
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. Well, not shocked because I am aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
but like a lot of men were wearing makeup.
Mm.
Like visibly, I
Mhm.
could see like the skin, like whether it's like BB cream or like actual cushion foundation type stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely they're wearing stuff on their lips and definitely they're wearing stuff on their eyes.
Like lipstick?
Yeah, like a lip tint.
Mm.
And then with the eyes, like you can see a little bit like the shadow or like the aegyo살, which is like the fatty deposits under your eyes to make yourself look youthful. Like I draw mine in. But
Really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like I noticed that men were doing that too, and it just made me think like it is actually for younger generations, especially males. Like I feel like the standards are getting higher for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's always been high for women, but I think it is getting higher for men as well. Like
You know what? But I don't know now. I feel like if a guy wants to wear makeup, let them wear makeup. Like if they have a huge pimple that they want to cover up like a concealer,
mm-hmm.
let them like be happy. Like let them feel comfortable in their own skin if they're like super self-conscious about it, right?
Yeah. No, I whenever I do my makeup, I always think to myself,
Yeah.
like it sucks that most men don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable doing this because the confidence
Yeah.
the makeup gives. But before we get into like makeup, I
Yeah.
did want to ask you, do you consider yourself to be in line with Korean beauty standards?
That's a good question.
Or do you try to be?
Mm, I would be lying if I said I didn't try to fit into a specific beauty standard.
Okay.
Do I feel like I fit into the Korean beauty standard? No.
Do
No.
you feel like you fit into a Western beauty standard for men?
I think the Western beauty standard of what an Asian person would look like, I do fit into that standard.
Okay.
It-
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Because like I think Asian, like the model minority, what an Asian boy should look like in North American society. Well, for me growing up was clean cut, like just not too crazy out there. You know what I mean? Like no tattoos. Like that's just kind of what the model minority should
Right.
look like.
Okay.
And I do feel like I fit that standard.
Like you look professional, you
Exactly.
look
Like
okay.
I'm not like a controversial looking person.
Do you try to be that way? Do you try to pass as a model minority citizen?
Um,
Yeah, that's a good
it's
question.
not that I care what other people think about me. It's I care about what my parents. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yeah.
if I were to get a tattoo, my parents would be really upset. So yeah, I just
Okay.
feel like one day, if I really want it, I'll do it. But I just don't feel the need to upset my parents in that way. Yeah.
Okay.
How about you? Do you feel like you fit the beauty standards of like a Korean girl? How come?
Mm, I will admit
Yeah.
that as I get older,
Okay.
I am definitely leaning more towards trying to look more Korean.
Okay. What does that mean to look more Korean?
So when I was younger, I did more like heavy makeup, like bleached hair. I was never like an ABG. I was never an ABG, but I definitely was not trying to look like soft or feminine or the things that Korean beauty promotes. But as I get older, it's actually partly because I'm getting a bit lazy. Like it's a lot less effort to look like Korean with my makeup. It's more like natural. It's more just emphasizing skincare, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also I have become like I'm definitely succumbing to Korean beauty standards because this past trip I was just in Korea like 2 months ago, and I actually got a lot of stuff done to my face.
Okay.
And I didn't really plan on it. I just went there and then I just got like lost in the sauce. Like it's first of all so cheap to get stuff done there. Botox that would have costed me well over $800 here, like in total. I think I paid under 100 for the same, if not more, amount. But yeah, like you sit in the chair and they kind of like you see all these like faces of all these like beautiful Korean people, and they literally tell you what you should get to be more like them, and then you're just kind of like, well,
Yeah, they make it so easy.
they make it seem like it's
Yeah.
nothing. Like they make Botox and filler feel like you're going in for like I don't know, just like a massage or something. It's
Yeah.
so normal, and so I found myself doing it all. and, and then I look at myself now. To be honest, I don't look that different. Like I did everything very like subtly.
Yeah.
But I do notice that I am definitely leaning more in that direction now. But I don't think I could ever look like a K-pop idol.
I mean, you can.
I
You
mean-
could get anything done in Korea.
You can't like I mean true, but I don't like I don't think I would put in all that time, energy, money, pain, and suffering to look like a K-pop idol because I don't think I care as much anymore. But when I was younger, for sure, if I
Yeah.
had adult money when I was like 16, I might have done something crazy.
Totally.
Yeah, so thank goodness I didn't have adult money back then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the spirit of transparency, even for me, right? Like, when I first went to Korea, I did not care about skincare at all. Now I'm like obsessed with skincare.
When did you start getting into skincare?
When I first went to Korea, on my lunch break, everyone was putting on sunscreen before they went out for lunch. And mind you, I am the type of person, I don't like the winter. I chase the summer. So like for the past 2 years, I didn't experience winter. Like I was working remotely in hot places. So I was so tan, and
I can't
that was like
imagine
a
you
red
tan.
flag. Oh, I was so dark. I didn't wear sunscreen at all.
Oh my
I
gosh.
never wore sunscreen, and I was in Thailand for 2 months before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all this to say, everyone was putting on sunscreen, and my coworkers thought they were like weirded out that I wasn't putting on sunscreen before I was going outside.
Yeah.
And then so I started putting it on, and then it started off with a health thing because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so bad for my skin.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you see subtle improvements of your skin, because a lot of the sunscreens have like, I don't know, like niacinamide or like these active ingredients, um, I noticed my skin getting better, and then I became obsessed with it.
Yeah, like I don't know if it translates on camera or if you ever meet James in person, the first thing you notice is his skin.
No,
His skin is
That's such a boost.
no, your skin is like so good. It's like always dewy and like
What?
oh, it's so healthy looking. I literally when my
Yeah.
friends ran into him in New York, they met him for the first time. The first thing I asked them, did you notice his skin?
That's so funny.
They're like, yeah, it was so healthy. Like you have great skin. Whatever you're doing, you should.
Oh,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's
You're
really
welcome.
nice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But you know what? My mom has always been obsessed with skincare. Ever
She also
since
has really nice skin.
I don't know. It's just like always been in our family, but I just never cared. I just never cared until I went to Korea, and then I cared about my skin. Yeah,
And
I mean, like
Koreans
yeah.
really care about skin. Like
Yeah, I agree.
like maybe they I think they care the most in the entire world. I would venture to say about skincare, and yeah, I'm also into it now. But I feel like it's tough. It's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's expensive,
Yeah.
and I don't understand how people upkeep their routines. Like, thank goodness I'm an influencer and I get all the skincare and PR that I get
Yeah.
to try. But like, if not, it is too expensive to keep up with. But other than skincare,
Yeah.
do you find yourself like trying to be more like even with your haircuts,
Yes.
for example,
Oh, yeah.
or like the way you dress or like things like that? Do you try to subscribe to Korean beauty standards?
100%. So when I first arrived in Korea, I was so dark from not wearing sunscreen.
Which, by the way, is fine.
It's fine.
Koreans are definitely colorist, and that is an issue.
Yeah.
Like, it is actually a problem.
But you know what? I didn't put on sunscreen, and I always promote. I don't care if people like to be fair or not fair. I think sunscreen is just so important
For health.
for health.
It is.
For health.
It is.
But the first thing that my family said to me when I arrived in Korea, they were like, "Your hair is so 촌스러워," which means so like corny,
Like, out of date.
out of date. And I had like a 90-10 hair part. You know what that is?
No.
It's like a very corporate. It's like you just have a line here, like 10% is here.
Oh, like
and then
the
90%.
Like the fade.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay.
I had that, and then gradually I moved to the middle. I got a perm. So did I succumb to Korean beauty standards? Yeah, I did.
I think you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
I haven't seen older content of you.
Yeah, yeah,
But every time you go to Korea, because I've
Yeah.
been following your Korea journey,
Okay.
like you do more beauty things than I did. Like you did the whole scalp massage tour. I
Yeah.
mean, I did too. But like you really posted a lot of content about
I
that.
mean, like,
noticed.
why not? I'm all about like
I know.
self-improvement.
Yeah. No,
And I'm
that's
like, if it
it's
makes me
true.
feel better to have like a healthy head of hair, a healthy scalp, good skin, I think those are the two things that I do put a lot of like energy in.
Yeah.
My skin and my hair.
So where do you draw the line for beauty standards, applying them to yourself?
Like, to be honest, like I want to get like crazy work done.
Like what's crazy work done to you?
I-
Would you get Botox?
See, I haven't gotten any Botox or anything.
You don't
like
need it.
it. I mean, I don't
Your
know.
skin is literally like you look like you got a facelift.
What? No. Okay, Henna's just being really nice.
No, I'm
I don't
serious.
know if you want me to cook for the
No,
next.
comment below
Yeah.
if you literally think James looks like he had a facelift. Like you look so young. Anyways, yeah, you don't need it. But Botox, would you consider it for wrinkles or otherwise?
You know what? Yeah, like maybe when I'm older and I'm self-conscious about it at this point in my life. No, I don't.
Fi-
I don't think I want it or
Filler?
I need it. What, do I look like I need fat in my cheeks? I don't know.
No.
That's what filler is, right? See, yeah, I don't know that. I don't know the cosmetic side. I just kind of know more of like skin and scalp.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you get you know how some people get makeup tattooed?
Oh,
so
yeah.
like eyeliner or like their brows, would you do that?
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, but you know what? So I have a good friend that got his eyebrows tattooed,
Mhm.
and it looks great.
Yeah.
And he didn't have that much hair there. Thankfully, I have hair on my eyebrows.
Mhm.
Um, why are you looking at my eyebrows? um, but
I need to
yeah,
verify. Yeah.
yeah. No, but like if it's something that like you feel self conscious about, I'm like, yeah, do it,
Yeah.
do
But
it.
there's a fine line between feeling self-conscious about something and then going too far just
Yes.
because everybody else is doing it. And that's how I feel about some of the filler I got done. So, to be completely transparent, all this is already on my TikTok, so I don't really care. But what I got done in Korea is, you're going to be shocked.
Why would I be shocked?
Because you're going to be confused. Like, why did you do that?
Okay.
Because I don't even know why I did it, to be honest. Okay, so I normally get Botox in my forehead because I frown a lot. I get Botox in my masseters for my jaw pain. It's supposed to also slim your face, but to be honest, like my here is like already a V, so it doesn't really do anything. I got I felt like my under eye circles were just so crazy, so I got a little filler here. I got filler here for my smile lines. Why are you laughing? I got filler here for my smile lines, and I also got I got lip filler, the tiniest bit, and then you also get Botox here to kind of like make your lips go up. Yeah, it was a lot. And I feel like I didn't really end up looking that different. But when I came home, like after the trip, and I was like thinking about it, I was like, why? Like, was that all really necessary? Probably not. Now I have all this like stuff in my face, and every day that I like cleanse my face, because you're not supposed to like rub your face around too much because
Yeah.
it moves the filler around. Like every day that I oil cleanse, I'm like rubbing my face for a minute. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, I can feel, like, feel it. Do you feel like something hard?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay, there's definitely like something hard here. So when I
Okay.
rub my eyes, I can feel it moving around. I think it's a bit much. I think I definitely got carried away. Would I do it again? That's the issue, probably.
Yeah, you know what? I do want to like for the viewers, I do want to make you feel like it's okay, like normalize it because
Yeah.
in Korean society, during lunch, people would get Botox, people would get fillers during their lunch break, right? I remember like going out, and it was like a common thing where girls would be like, "Oh, I can't drink tonight because I just got my fat removed from my chin." So like I'm used to it, so I don't want like the viewers to be like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy," because it's really normal in Korean society
But
to
maybe
get
that's
stuff
the
done.
problem.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to
Address.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
unpack in my own life.
Okay.
Like, I always advocate, self-love, and I always advocate for people, to feel comfortable in their skin. And then I turn around, I do all this stuff to my face. I feel like such a fraud.
Yeah.
And the fact that I would consider doing it again, even though I'm not even like that into it, it's just wild to me. And it makes me think like, do I need therapy? Like, do I need to hard reset? Like,
No.
like it does, because, and I think coming back here, so when I'm in Korea, it's all normal, everybody's doing it, you don't think twice. And then as a Korean Canadian,
Yeah.
like, you come back and this is your reality, and like, that it's not as common. It is definitely more common now, but it's not as common. And then it just makes you kind of like feel weird. I feel weird sometimes that like the different worlds,
Yeah.
they don't mesh sometimes.
And I think that's the hard part of, and I think that's like a really good example of why we're doing this podcast is because we are part of two very different worlds and like navigating, being a Korean person, being a North American person, it's tough, And it's not just Korean. It's like if you have any other cultural background that you grew up with, I'm sure there's so many different beauty standards. I know like in India they have different beauty standards too, right? So like fair
course.
skin is like a thing there too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It's really sad if you think about
Yeah.
it.
Okay, I need to ask you a question. Are you attracted to the Korean beauty standards in a guy? Be honest. Be honest.
It depends on where I am. In
Like
Korea.
in Korea? Okay.
In Korea, yeah, for sure. I found myself looking at like the tall, pale guys. They all have like the same hair, the same bangs, the same like, yeah. And then I come back here, and I'm like, they stick out too much like a sore thumb. I don't know. And then like typically, I don't really go for like really Korean looking guys. But I've definitely been influenced. Just being in Korea does something to you. It
Mm-hmm.
like really does something to you. I hate it.
Yeah.
How about you? And you have to be honest
I'm gonna
because
be so honest on not my ideal type because I feel like I've dated such a wide spectrum of what people of
me
what,
too.
but I think I do lean towards a certain type of looking girl.
Which is
Um, I don't. I'm not a like you know the super cutesy ones that Korean guys usually like the IUs or
Okay.
like I
Very
think Pak Boyoung, like
like
big
the very-
eyes,
yeah.
acts like a dog, looks like a dog,
wholesome,
wholesome,
innocent,
yeah,
fragile,
innocent.
pure.
Yeah, like you can knock them over and they'll fall. You know, that's not my type.
Okay.
So my type would be like 고양이, which means cat looking.
Okay. But
Um, and like cat looking, they don't have to have like the big eyes. Like they could have like small eyes that are a little bit more like slit or like
yeah,
up. You know what I mean?
more like a more sultry look.
That's my preference.
But would you say that's? I mean, to be honest, Korean beauty standards for women, like yeah, typically people try to look more like wholesome, innocent, pure, whatever. But there's also now with like obviously like the rise of K-pop and stuff, like that sultry look is also can be done in a very Korean way.
Yeah.
So do you prefer like the Korean version of like that hot sultry look,
Yeah.
or is it more Western leaning? Like which Korean beauty standards, and I'm talking pale skin, big eyes, small nose, skinny, tall, like all of that stuff, which of those, I guess, standards do
Yeah.
you subscribe to as a male?
Okay. My ideal type is someone that looks like Hyori, right?
She's so hot.
I know,
Oh
but
my God.
she goes to both standards.
Yeah,
but she's super tan.
healthy looking.
Yeah,
too.
she's like super
I
tan.
love her. She's actually my style icon. I
yeah,
watch her.
she's
I watch her
beautiful.
show every week just to get like fashion inspo. I love her.
I love her. She just seems like a good gal. Yeah, so she's not really part of the Korean beauty standard. She was like really tan, but obviously all the Koreans thought she was beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Interesting. I'm trying to think of someone else who would be your type.
I love Han Soi. She's kind of like a little edgier. Yeah,
Interesting.
like not the typical cutesy.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny because I come across as like a very like wholesome person.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but I guess you always want what you don't have, right? Anyways, okay, no, we already talked about dating. We should
Yeah.
stop.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just curious. Yeah, I'm curious like because it's healthy to admit when you maybe are part of the problem. I'm not saying that you are part of the problem. Just what like as society as a whole, we do push a certain look.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm guilty of it as well, trying to be that certain look, but also yeah, like when I look at people of the opposite sex, like definitely like I've said comments like, "Oh, he's not tall enough,"
Yeah.
or like his eyes are too big. I actually really don't like double eyelids, so
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, I find it really 느끼해.
What's Nikia for the
Like
cheesy, right?
like corny, like yeah, when I okay, incoming hot take alert. Ricky,
Okay.
get ready to clip this for get ready to clip this. I don't like Asian men with big eyes because yeah, they look like too poor. Like
Poor?
like they look like poor as in like 불쌍해. Like they look what's the word? Just like the puppy eyes is not it for me.
Like you could be taken advantage of.
Yeah, no, just like this. I don't know. I can't find an appropriate way to talk about this.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to. This isn't a podcast where you air your dirty laundry.
Yeah,
but I
no,
think
it's a
it's an
preference.
honest.
It's a preference. I like monolids on men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most non-Korean people or most non-Asian people don't have a monolid though. Oh, wait, have a monolid. So are you more attracted to Asian people?
Yes.
Got it.
100%.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've dated various.
Yeah, a wider, not a wide, an array.
An array.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a range.
Okay.
And I do find myself always kind of defaulting back to Korean or not. Well, yeah, Korean, Asian in general. But it's because I think deep down, like I do subscribe to Asian beauty standards. I think, and I can admit that. Doesn't
So
feel
can
good.
I.
Doesn't feel good admitting it, but I definitely can. When was the first time you found yourself like aware
Mm.
of this and like, feeling some type of way about it?
I became aware that I wasn't part of the Korean beauty standard at a very young age, maybe when I was grade 4,
What? Really?
because
That's
I was
really
a
young.
chubby kid.
Oh.
And the first thing when you meet a Korean relative, they'll comment on your weight.
Yep. That's actually a greeting.
That's also, oh,
It's a way that
yeah,
we
you gained
greet
weight or
each
you
other.
didn't gain or you
It's
lost weight.
so messed up. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, auntie, haven't seen you in like 10 years. Oh, like, why are you so fat? Like, what?
It's like,
Like,
oh, you gained weight or
yeah.
you lost weight. Like
Yeah.
that was like always the thing,
Yeah.
right? And mind you, I went to Korea every summer growing up.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, you know how people here go to camp?
Mm-hmm.
I went to Korea and I hated it at the
Korea
time.
camp.
But now I'm like so thankful that I feel like
Yeah.
I identify with the Korean culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That being said, I was chubby
Mm-hmm.
as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Always went to Korea, ate my heart out, gained even more weight, came back. But yeah, like I was always, and I still am to this day, like an extra large in Korea or a large.
You?
Yeah, like I'm not like a big guy, but
That's shocking.
I've always been a large.
That's
Minimum or extra large.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I buy extra large in Korea right now.
for sure.
Like this is an extra large.
I think weight is probably a common way
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of Asian people have felt estranged by their own cultural beauty standards.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like me too. Like I mean, I wasn't like a chubby kid, but I definitely gained a lot of weight like during university.
Okay.
And I think, I mean, like weight has always been, as a girl, you like always kind of think about it. But I think when I gained a lot of weight and I started hearing comments about it from family and friends, I think that was when, and then to be honest, like it spiraled and like I'm so open to talking about this, so it's fine. But yeah, like I started developing really disordered like eating habits and just body dysmorphia, and like it affects me to this day, and even now, like right now I'm having some hormonal issues, like I can't really control my weight that well, and it stresses me out so much. And I feel bad that it stresses me out because I feel like, again, I always advocate for self-love and I always advocate for being healthy inside and out, but like this weight thing
Yeah.
is, that's why like the last time I was in Korea I was like actually kind of stressed. I was like, oh my god, like I've definitely done that thing where you diet hardcore before going back home because you
Yeah.
just don't want to hear it from your
Yeah.
family and friends.
Yeah.
It's so toxic. Like
It
it's
is.
actually so toxic. And yeah, like if I could change anything about Korean beauty standards, it would be for it to be more body positive, inclusive of different body shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
But I don't see it changing ever.
Yeah.
Do you?
No. And I think it's because Korean people have the survival of the fittest mentality still.
Literally the
where,
fittest.
Yeah, so they just literally feel like they need to look a certain way to survive, right?
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. That being said, hot take. I think there are some pros in the Korean beauty standards.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a pretty hot take.
That is a hot take, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this. I don't know, but like I see a lot of people, like especially Korean people in Korea, complaining about the Korean beauty standards and how hard it is to like upkeep, right? But if you think about like, I'm like totally riding the wave of like Korean culture being globalized and glamorized, right? Like I think I'm self-aware enough, and I think you are, to know that like we wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't produce Korean content. It's just everywhere, right?
Yes.
And a lot of why like Korean content is becoming so popular is because K-pop, skincare, all of that, right? So I think we've benefited a lot from that, right? So that's my hot take. Like
So it's not really, your hot take isn't that there are certain standards in Korean beauty that are good.
Yeah.
It's more so, it's great for you.
Great for me and
great,
everyone in Korea and society.
It's
like
great for Korean
tourism.
culture.
Yeah, like we're on the map now.
For it to be so like widespread and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
Okay.
K-beauty is so big, and Korean people in Korea have benefited from it as well. So I just feel like there's like a very big victim mentality where it's like, oh, like it's so hard to upkeep, but there's a lot of benefits that came from the whole concept of K-beauty.
Okay, so
Is that a hot take? I don't know. You tell me.
well, it is overly commercialized. I will say that. And I think with like literally you open the like your social media apps and every day there's a new Korean product, new like viral thing you have to try. I think it does produce a lot of waste. Um, environmentally speaking. Also, it does like sociologically, psychologically have an impact on like younger viewers for them to think that they need all these things that like it's I know it's all about the details, but I think it's like well, it's not just the Korean beauty industry, like any beauty industry. It's gone a little bit too far, in my opinion. Not a little bit, a lot too far. Like they just play on like insecurities you didn't even know you had in order to sell you products. And like I get from like a financial perspective, like for the culture, it's great, whatever. But I think the individual impact is far more toxic. Um, but again, I don't see it changing because
Yeah.
once the ball starts rolling in that direction and it's gained so much momentum, like who's gonna stop it? Like that's why when people ask me like, "Oh, do you think Korean beauty standards are ever going to like change? Do you ever see like Korean beauty standards being more inclusive of different body types or different skin tones, whatever?" Honestly, it's so sad to say I don't think so. Because Korean people, another hot take, like we're obsessed with perfection.
Mm.
And
I mean,
once
I get that.
yeah, like I am too, so I get it.
Mm.
And like but unless there's like a huge cultural shift, I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a big problem is, Korean, just being Korean, it's so easy to compare ourselves with other people. And
Yeah.
I grew up being compared to all the time. Like my parents, friends, kids, like they're doing this. They look like this. They are doing this, right? So because it's ingrained in us at such a young age, it's so easy to want to be like everyone else or just kind of like strive for that.
Yeah.
Um, but I hope there is that shift, like in our generations, like once we have kids,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't know.
I hope
I'm such a
so.
pessimist.
Yeah.
Do your parents, well, I know definitely what not to do as a parent when it comes to um, pushing a certain beauty standard. Like, do your parents ever say anything about your appearance? Or did they
No.
comment? Really?
No, my parents. No, no.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is so interesting to me. So
But maybe it's different between a girl and a guy.
do they do that to your sister?
My mom would do it to my sister
Like
growing up.
like talk about her weight or her
Okay,
hair
so
or like
we went on exchange, me and my sister, in third year university. I went to Singapore, but my sister went to France. And French in France, like obviously you're like a student, so you're gonna get the cheapest food, which is bread, and it's so good. So my sister came back. No, not don't get mad at me for baiting you out. But she gained a lot of weight, which is fine. She enjoyed herself, right? But yeah, like my mom was like, "We're getting you a personal trainer." It was that, but like you know what I mean? Like that's yeah.
no, but that's I applaud your mom for actually providing a solution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, you're so fat. Like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I don't know why. Oh gosh, yeah.
No, but
You know what I mean? It was. I personally think it was out of love. It's like, okay, like let's get you on track.
yeah, as long as it's about health. But
Yes.
for me, it's so weird. Like sometimes I feel like my mom was just so different when I was young compared to now, but she would like always comment how my butt was too big, even though I don't
What?
have one. Yeah, yeah. She's like,
Koreans
oh,
don't like big butts.
yeah. She's like, oh, your butt's too big.
Yeah.
Like you have to grow taller. Like she would force me to drink so much milk. Um, she would, yeah. Like she was very critical of my appearance, especially the way I dressed, because like I wouldn't be able to leave the house basically without her approving my outfit. And it wasn't about being an appropriate outfit. It was more so about like, does it look good?
Oh, really? It
'Cause my
wasn't about
mom-
like covering up.
Yeah, it wasn't really about like if I went like I mean obviously like she is a bit more modest as a traditional Korean parent, but it was more so like does my daughter look good? And even to this day, I don't leave the house without either hearing her voice in my head approving my outfit or me literally going to her in her room and being like, "Mom, is this an okay outfit?" Because she cares so much about like what I look like. But in recent years, especially since I had my whole like body dysmorphia, disordered eating debacle, she's really done her like due diligence on educating herself about like how to talk to your kids about them gaining weight or eating healthier. And so she never comments on my body now. I actually, well, it's a rule for me. I never weigh myself. Like it's a hard rule. Even at the doctor's office, when they do the yearly check-ins, I tell them, by the way, you can too. If you don't want to look at your weight, you can always let your doctors know that you don't want to look, and that's totally normal and fine. But yeah, like we just never, it's just in my household, there's like, we don't talk about my weight. And I really appreciate that.
Thanks
Like,
for sharing
so
that. I know
much.
that's really personal and like I don't know, like an insecurity like that. Like I appreciate you sharing that.
No, no problem. It's all about breaking Bap. It's all about-
Speaking of Breaking Bap, there's so much food left,
I
and
know.
I just feel like I'm constantly eating.
I know, but it's like this is so healthy and like it's just so light that it's not making me like full or anything.
Good.
It's good.
I guess this podcast will just go on forever then.
Yeah.
we
yeah,
usually
we
eat
have
till
to-
when we're full.
Oh, okay, hurry up, hurry up. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, like there's so much we could talk about with Korean beauty standards. But I felt like it was a good topic for us to talk about because we are influencers that push products, that push an ideal, I guess, an image to our impressionable, probably young. Well, I mean, we both have mostly millennial viewers, but
Yeah.
still there are young people who are watching us. And like, I just want to make sure that this podcast remains like a safe space.
100%.
And that's why I wanted to share things like that because yeah, like I don't talk to men a lot about my past with weight or my physical insecurities. Like it's actually really like weird for me to be doing this, but I feel like maybe it starts with like breaking down those stigmas starts with having conversations with people, especially of the opposite gender, who maybe don't understand. Like, but you have a sister. I'm sure you have seen just how much it can affect.
Yeah, I think, yeah, for sure. Having a sister definitely helps, and it helped me navigate through society, how to have conversations with females. So, Nuna, if you're watching this, I really appreciate it. You really set me up for just having not even relationships, but friendships with girls. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I understand, like, at a very young age, my sister, I think that was, like, one of the first things she's ever taught me. Don't talk about a girl's weight. Like, that's just ingrained in my head.
That is so sweet.
You
also
never
do that
talk
to
about
Ricky.
weight. It's like, you cannot do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Your sister sounds awesome.
She's awesome.
She
She's
sounds
the
like
best.
me.
Yeah, like, honestly, you know the whole trend of, like, the cool sister effect?
Yeah.
Where it's, like, a guy is cool if they have a cool older sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I genuinely feel like she's molded me. She was like, hey, you should play this instrument, or, like, this, you know what I mean? Or, like, I don't know. She was like, oh, you should play this sport. Like, you should do this, you know? Not force me, but, like, encourage me to do certain things that really, like, set me up for where I am today.
I really love that she has like trained you to not discuss, like I can't imagine you talking about a woman in a disrespectful manner at all. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. James could be so different when he's around his boys or something, but like the impression I get from you though is that you would never disparage a woman for her weight or for her appearance. Like,
no, I don't think I would never do that. I would never do that.
Yeah, like that's I think rare for Korean men. And last time I got a lot of heat for like generalizing Korean men, but like it's a generalization. Okay, it's not all men.
You don't speak in absolutes, right?
Yeah.
It's
well,
just...
last time I said 99.9%, but I was just trying to be funny, you know.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of male Korean friends, and part of the reason why I distanced myself from them over the years is because of the way that they talked about women, as if I wasn't there, you know?
Got it.
Like the whole locker room stuff, like they would talk about like literally, oh yeah, she's so mid, she's a 6 out of 10. If she lost a little weight, she'd be so much more attractive.
Yeah.
Oh, I think she should get like double eyelid surgery. Like they're saying these things not to me, but like I'm there and I'm just like, I can't believe this. And if these are people that I consider my friends, like what can I assume about what other men Korean men are talking about. Like, and I do think that, another generalization, but I do think that Korean men are more so even judgmental of women because Korean beauty standards are just that next level.
Yeah.
I've heard non-Korean men talk about women and it is also disrespectful, but there's something about the way Korean men talk about women. It's so specific. It's so scary.
Mm.
Like they go as far as to talk about like, the height of the
The nose
nose
bridge. Yeah.
or like it's
A tooth.
yeah, like literally
Yeah.
it's so specific.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah. No, I think it's just men in general. If they haven't been around women, they might be doing it to flirt with you, or they might be doing it to
What?
like be funny. You know what I mean? They don't know how to like approach
Okay,
conversation.
give me a hypothetical situation in which that would happen. I cannot.
Not about like
I
talking
cannot
about physical
fathom that.
appearances, but like sometimes like word vomit just comes out when
Like
you're kind of
what?
anxious or nervous or
Like what? Oh, your nose bridges? Like
I'm
oh, like it's your
not
first
just
date. And
I'm
you
not
just
trying to
comment on a.
justify
No,
behavior,
give me an example.
but
Have you done that?
no. But like for example, if girls, like let's say
Oh, man.
not me, but like a guy was around a group of girls and they were talking about their insecurities, I could see a guy that hasn't been around girls that's like, okay, you shouldn't be talking about weight, you shouldn't be talking about their appearances,
Yeah.
trying to chime into that conversation and being like, oh yeah, like maybe if you did this, like, you know what I mean, or like just try to be funny, be like, oh yeah, you did gain some weight, or like, you know what I mean, like not that that's appropriate, but it might just come out because they're nervous or they want to be part of the conversation.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
That is tragic.
It's tragic, but I just don't want to give the benefit of the doubt, extend grace, sometimes.
Yeah, I really believe
Yeah.
most of the time when people are being disrespectful about others, it's coming from a place of naivety
Yeah.
and inexperience. That's what I'd like to believe. But I guess I'm more so talking about the men that know exactly what they're doing and just how they weaponize beauty to make themselves feel bigger and put women down. I've
Yeah.
just seen a lot of that amongst my own Korean guy friends, and not that like I would ever want their validation, because again they're just my friends, but also like I don't know, it just as a woman makes me feel so unsafe, and I think that unsafe feeling is kind of how I feel when I go to Korea,
Yeah.
because I know that even though people aren't saying it, everyone's thinking about it. Everyone is obsessed with beauty.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
there's no excuse and there's no room for that. Like guys should not be doing that to women, And I think women, like as a guy, we just don't know what it's like to be a woman. Like for example, if a girl doesn't want to talk to a man because they feel unsafe, or like don't want to be judged, or it's just not that time of day, or like maybe you guys are going through that time of the month. You know what I mean? It's just you might not want to talk to a man,
Okay.
but like the fact that you have to think about like, oh, is that guy gonna like be aggressive towards me or like call me this or like, you know what I mean? Like we've never faced those situations of what it's like to feel, like a superiority or like a.
Well, you would think that Korean men arguably are subject to more of the pressure to be beautiful than men here, for example. Like if we are talking about the extreme Korean beauty standards, you would think that that would allow men to give more grace and understanding to women, but I think it has the opposite effect, and I think that's something that's really toxic about Korean perfectionism as part of our culture. Is like it's kind of like, well, if I'm suffering and I'm fine, or like I'm making it through, like you also have to suffer. Like there's this mindset that's like, well, if I put all this like time, energy, money into looking beautiful, like good for me. Like you not doing that, like you're lazy. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I think that is like the essence of what drives a lot of Korean culture, like the desire to be perfect, the desire to like be the best of the best, is there's a lot of like, well, I'm suffering, you should too. Yeah.
Oh, I get that.
Beauty is literally pain.
Beauty is pain.
Beauty is literally pain.
And we learned that at a young age.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, like you alluded to this earlier, where you know a lot of the people that are watching this podcast are probably more in our age group, maybe even older. But if you were to tell your younger self or the younger viewers, um, you know, the whole idea of like, don't listen to this, or like what you'd want to tell your younger self, what would it be?
I need to think about that because I never. Hold on, I'm chewing with my.
No, it's fine. Or I can start off. I would say, don't listen too much, or don't care to the extent where your values are being swayed. And I think, you know, something that's good advice that I would tell, you know, someone younger than me is like, when you're listening to someone or caring about what people think, do they have more experience than you in this certain topic? Or I don't know, like, are they a subject matter expert or in that field? Otherwise, like, they have no room or they have no reason to like criticize you, or they shouldn't care, right? So I would say that is my advice.
Okay. What would your advice be specifically to like young men that watch your content and they get stressed out because they don't have good skin like you, or they're not as tall as they think you are? They might think you're taller than you are. I'm just saying. Like, what would your advice be to like the young people that find themselves aware that they're not part of this beauty standard? Like, I think it's important to hear from someone like you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say I'm insecure too. Like, I'm insecure. I don't have everything together. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being perfect. And no one is. No one is. So, it's okay to have flaws, and no one cares about like how you look more than yourself, right? So it's just like, just I don't know, this is gonna sound so cheesy, but just love yourself. And yeah, that's what I would say.
I think it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to love yourself when, again, like there's so many things that like different brands and companies are telling you that you need to improve on. I get that, and that's why I feel a certain type of way anytime I push product. I'm like, ooh, like I never want to make it sound like someone needs this. You know, it's more so. I approach beauty and skincare and just general like fashion upkeep as fun for me. And I think that if you have an interest in beauty in any type of way, please try to have fun with it. It's supposed to be fun. You know, it's supposed to be like
expressive.
Yeah, like
right?
that feeling of like, oh my gosh, my skin is actually like so supple because I started putting sunscreen on. Like that like joy you felt from
Those butterflies in
seeing-
your stomach.
Yeah, from seeing like improvement, the way you define improvement. I think that's part of the fun. And for me, like again, like I will never look like a K-pop idol, but like there are like little things I try here and there that are just fun. It's like fun to express myself through makeup and clothes, and yeah, just always have fun with it. And also, flaws are like made up. Like actually, flaws are actually like what I consider a flaw to me for probably no one else would have ever thought about.
Yeah.
For example, like I have uneven eyelids, and so I wear double eyelid tape on one eye to like fix it. And then I told someone that the other day, and they're like,
I would never
"Who's
have known.
looking at your eyelids like that?" And I'm like, "Me." But that's what I mean. Like it's just yeah, flaws are made up, but at the end of the day, like you don't need to be perfect. Like if you're to the young Korean viewers watching this, it does feel like there is a standard of perfection because you see it all the time. Like in K-pop, in dramas, like you physically see other human beings be perfect, and you're like, why am I not like that?
Yeah.
Or like, what do I need to do to be like that? Those people are literally paid to look good. Like those people, those are their jobs.
Yeah.
Like you don't owe it to anybody to look like that, unless like you know if someone was paying you millions of dollars, maybe I would also. But like, but yeah, it's just not normal. It's not. It shouldn't be normalized. So I guess what I would tell my younger self is like, focus on the inside beauty first, because ever since I started doing that, everything feels so much lighter. Like if you find your, like, if you work on your inner beauty, no matter what, like, you feel beautiful. That sounds so corny. Oh my
No,
gosh.
it's not corny at all.
It is so corny.
It's a mind shift.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, life is like life is beautiful, and you want to be a beautiful person experiencing how life is beautiful.
Yeah.
But your physical appearance actually has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I can't imagine how sad my parents would feel
Mm-hmm.
if, you know, like I know that they love me so much, and like an extension of them was feeling this way and feeling this insecure. Yeah, like and I would never want that for anyone. And like this is gonna sound super cheesy, but like everyone was someone's child, right? So it's just like, yeah.
You know,
I don't know. I'm gonna stop there.
I saw this TikTok and
Yeah.
it like made me kind of cry. This girl was like pointing out her insecurities and
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, I hate this about myself, hate that about myself," and then she realized that those features she got from her deceased father. So like, for example, like her round face, she's like, "Oh, I hate my round face," but then she posted a photo of her deceased dad who has the exact same features, and with the caption being like, "Oh, did you also hate my round face?" And then it really made me think, like,
Yeah.
we are our parents.
Yeah.
And I would never look at my parents and be like, my dad has uneven eyelids, ew. Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yeah, like that actually like messed me up a little bit. I was like, wow, if I see myself as like their child, I appreciate everything. Like,
Yeah.
like actually, like there's no, yeah. So just be kinder to yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy all the products that we push.
No, but no, you don't. You don't. But I would say we're pretty like honest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty honest.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And honestly, your skin, like, you guys, I wish we could zoom in.
No.
Ricky, in post, it just zoom in on
No,
James's face.
no.
It's like literally glowing. Anyways, yeah, you can trust what he says because he obviously it's working.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
This is making me feel uncomfortable. And with that,
And with that, I think we can wrap up. We didn't finish today's food.
we will finish after we stop rolling,
Okay.
right?
All right. So I guess that concludes episode 3. Please let us know. Keep the feedback coming, but please also let us know what you want to see us talk about, what you want to see us eat.
And yeah, we really, really appreciate your support. We're so thankful. And if you guys could subscribe, we'd be eternally grateful as well.
Like, comment,
Yeah.
subscribe, all that good stuff. And until we eat again, right?
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.